2025 has been a weird and wonderful year for smartphones.
The iPhone 17 Pro just destroyed the competition.
It's just an absolute all-round belter with next to no flaws.
You know, somehow in a world of AI devices and smart glasses and XR headsets, the smartphone is still OP.
Welcome back to Re-Review, where we watch all the reviews so you don't have to. Today we're breaking down the best smartphone of 2025. Let's start with the main event, the battle for the best overall phone.
The Galaxy S25 Ultra and the iPhone 17 Pro Max are both outstanding. But this year, the edge goes to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. And it's all about the many small practical upgrades.
This is the most technologically advanced iPhone Apple has ever made. And if you're already embedded in the Apple ecosystem, this is the best flagship phone you can buy.
But not everyone agrees the iPhone deserves the top spot.
My personal pick of the smartphone I've most enjoyed using this year, 2025, is Oppo's Find X9 Pro. It's just an absolute all-round belter with next to no flaws, serving up the most premium experience in basically every area.
Overall, smartphone of the year, the Oppo Find X9 Pro. I think this is the closest we've ever been to a flawless phone.
The Galaxy S25 Ultra remains the biggest and baddest Android phone on the block. If you're looking for a feature-packed device that can double as a laptop, a drawing tablet, or even a DSLR-level camera, this is the model for you.
The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now, this is one of the best all-rounders out there. I do like the refreshed design with the flat sides. It has my personal favorite display on any smartphone, and that's thanks to Gorilla Armor, which gives it anti-reflective properties.
And then there's the wildcard that almost nobody saw coming.
Probably my favorite phone release of the year, the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, and just a treat to use, but also hilarious that they just copied the name and then did a bunch of one-upping. They one-up the design, they one-up the battery, they one-up the power, and they add this display on the back, which is actually super functional.
But MKBHD's actual phone of the year surprised everyone, including his audience.
Of all the phones that came out during 2025, the winner for MVP is this guy, iPhone 17. This phone was a long time coming, and what a story this year.
So 4 different reviewers, 4 different picks for the best phone. But when it comes to cameras, the picture gets even more complicated.
The iPhone, the detail, the image just looks better on all 3 cameras in my opinion. And when the HDR is working well, it looks great. I'm gonna call it here. The iPhone has the best cameras, period.
But there's a growing consensus that the real camera kings aren't from Apple and Samsung, they're from China.
So let's get one thing out of the way. It is not the iPhone 17 Pro. It is not the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. The actual winner, which is the Vivo X300 Pro. A phone that I would actually say is 2 generations ahead of the already extremely capable mainstream flagships.
I actually had to do a YouTube cop-out and split the Sperty between 2 different winners, the Oppo Find X9 Pro and the Vivo X300 Pro. Both of these pocket heroes boast a superior and flexible camera arrangement which excels in pretty much any conditions.
And there's a fascinating reason why these Chinese phones are pulling ahead.
Vivo, Oppo, and OnePlus are all owned by the same parent company, BBK. I think they've decided that OnePlus is pure performance. That's why the OnePlus 15 gets the fastest chip and huge battery, but scaled back cameras. Oppo is the mainstream all-rounder flagship, and then they want the camera enthusiasts to go to Vivo.
For professional photographers and especially videographers, now the iPhone still excels in ProRes RAW and ProRes Log for all sorts of post-editing and color grading. And on the Samsung side, I do believe it's striking a balance between the iPhone and the Vivo and Oppo. The 85mm APO lens co-developed with Zeiss, with the aid of the T-Star coating that's available on all 3 lenses, you should be expecting really great light refraction control and chromatic aberration suppression.
And then there's Pixel, which didn't fare so well.
I think the Pixel is by far the weakest out of these. The Samsung actually was more impressive than I thought. I'm just gonna toss the Pixel over here. Not the best cameras, definitely not in video.
Now I almost gave this award to Google's Pixel 9a, probably still the best Pixel of 2025, and that includes the soggy squibs that were the Pixel 10 flagships.
But one area where Apple quietly impressed everyone was the selfie camera on the base iPhone 17.
And then they also gave it a really good new selfie camera up, this big square sensor that can take portrait or landscape selfies. Huge underrated upgrade that I think a lot of people are going to copy next year.
The new OnePlus 15 has an insane battery life with a massive 7300 mAh battery on board that makes it a true two-day phone. Couple that with OnePlus's super fast charging, and no other phone comes close in terms of battery.
The OnePlus 15. It supports some of the fastest charging out there, 120 watt Super VOOC, so you can get 100% charge in 39 minutes. That's much faster than competitors with much smaller batteries. It also has 50 watts of wireless charging.
But Mr. Who's the Boss noticed something most reviewers missed about OnePlus.
I'm just not a fan of the camera downgrades that have snuck in here. Compared to the previous OnePlus flagship, every one of these rear camera sensors is smaller.
He's picked for the best battery phone, the Oppo Find X9 Pro.
The phone I would choose to use if battery was the priority is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. 7,500 mAh, basically as big as you can get. A pretty similar spec sheet and design to the OnePlus 15, but instead of a camera downgrade, this is up. This is way up.
The secret sauce? Silicon carbide batteries, and not everyone has them.
Now, although the battery life is very good, it's not as good or as large as many other smartphones on this list. And that's because Samsung is still not using silicon carbon technology.
Though it would be dope if Samsung would go silicon carbon with this. But otherwise, I freaking love this phone, man.
2025 was a breakthrough year for foldables, and it started with Samsung finally fixing the fold.
Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 7 feels like a massive change, simply because of how much slimmer and lighter it is than the Z Fold 6, while also bumping up pretty much all of its specs at the same time. This one generation is more than the difference in thickness between the last 4 generations of Samsung Folds put together.
Samsung was the one who started the foldable phone revolution, but the last few generations felt a little bit stuck in the past. The Fold 7 finally fixes everything that was wrong with the series. The phone is incredibly slim, lightweight, and stylish.
They're big, they're heavy, they're fragile, and they have these hinges that are just asking to be filled with small particles.
Yeah, this thing, it wouldn't last a week in my life.
But after months of real-world testing, Becca changed their tune.
It has totally made me a believer in foldables. Mostly because it has proven that it's not some precious item they have to be super careful with. They can hang with the slab phones in the hardware department.
The fall from the bike mount especially, folks, I was cooking down the streets of Brooklyn, went over a big bump, this thing went flying, I had to turn around, pick it up off the ground. Whew, I thought for sure, at least a cracked, I don't know, camera or something. And yeah, just a really good bump on the edge.
But the most exciting foldable might be Samsung's wildcard.
Is Samsung's Galaxy Z Trifold. I went into my first hands-on thinking it would feel interesting, but gimmicky. I came out searching for what the fastest way is to transfer everything over from my iPhone. The reward of this enormous 10-inch display it has on the inside that's widescreen, so content really makes the most of it.
This year, the Fold 7 truly feels like a no-compromise foldable phone.
Now for a category that generated huge hype but left reviewers cold, the ultra-thin phones.
The ultra-thin phones, for example, the iPhone Air, the S25 Edge, they hit the unique part, but I would say they're worse because of it, because they die literally 30% faster than their more traditionally proportioned brethren. I think both of these devices are absolutely beautiful traps. This shiny, alluring new form factor that is going to sway a lot of people in the short term when they're making that buying decision. But then long term, when you stop noticing that form factor and the battery degradation starts to set in, I think most of those users will start to become worse off because of it. They'll start to wonder, why are my photos so grainy when I try and zoom in? Why am I having to use power saving mode every day? Why is my phone starting to feel choppy after 20 minutes of gaming? Which are not things that you want to be wondering when you have still forked out $1,000 to get one of these.
Now, let's talk value, because some of the best value deals this year come from phones you might not expect.
And then the one that, beginning of this year, I would have predicted to be the last phone to be sitting in this category, the base iPhone 17. I distinctly remember casually strolling into the Apple event this year, being totally prepared for there to be like 2 changes max to this phone, only to end up scurrying out of there a couple of hours later when it finished, trying to piece together my entire page of notes.
Hidden in the most expansive iPhone lineup we've kind of ever had, among the iPhone Air, the most interesting one, and the iPhone Pro, the most capable one, is this base iPhone that leveled up to be the most complete and actually kind of a great deal.
In my opinion, it's the best iPhone deal, and it's the one that I recommend to most people. and that is of course the iPhone 17. Finally, we have 120 Hz for the display, and it's the same ProMotion display that we've got on the Pro models. Apple has been holding this back for the base model for many years.
So now this base iPhone is a better deal than the base S25 and the base Pixel. It's about damn time.
And at the budget end, Mr. Who's the Boss found a hidden gem.
If you wanted to spend no more than $300, I would side very slightly with the CMF Phone 2 Pro by Nothing. You are getting a bit less hardware, but it's cheaper at $250, and it's got that Nothing level of polish that makes it feel a little more expensive than its pared back stats might suggest. The software's really optimized, the bloatware's minimal.
And the kicker, it undercuts major flagships at a price of just $900.
Finally, let's talk about what's actually running on these phones, because in 2025, AI features became a major differentiator.
For me, Galaxy AI is the most complete AI package on any smartphone, especially when it comes to generative AI. With the S25 Ultra, you can literally cover half of your face and it's going to be able to generatively fill that in for you. Not only that, there's certain AI features like Browsing Assist where I can summarize web pages, which I actually use every single day.
Google's Pixel phone took a different approach, leaning all in on AI.
At the time of recording, the Pixel 10 Pro XL and its smaller sibling, the Pixel 10 Pro, are indisputably the best AI phones. Google's multimodal Gemini AI can answer all manner of questions with genuinely useful answers. Gemini Live will let you talk about whatever you want with the phone's built-in voice assistant, and AI photography features like Best Take can be downright magical when used correctly.
But when it comes to Apple Intelligence, reviewers were far less impressed.
The Bust of the Year award goes beyond just boring. And in 2025, this was without a doubt Apple Intelligence. Apple had to eat its words about Apple Intelligence as it just couldn't deliver on the promises it made way back in 2024.
But it's also not this, because Siri, and to be honest, iOS in general, just feels like it's lagging behind.
Software updates are where some brands really stand out.
Samsung has promised 7 generations of Android OS updates, and they have been very good with updates.
The Magic 7 Pro gets some truly unique AI features like deepfake detection and AI super zoom, which help this flagship stand out in a smartphone market saturated with gimmicky features.
So who wins the best smartphone of 2025? It depends entirely on what you need. The video creators and Apple ecosystem users, the iPhone 17 Pro Max remains the gold standard. For Android enthusiasts who want everything including the kitchen sink, the Galaxy S25 Ultra delivers. If battery life is your priority, the OnePlus 15 and Oppo Find X9 Pro are in the league of their own. If you're an average user who just wants the best value, get the base iPhone 17. It's finally competitive. If you're a power user on budget, the OnePlus 15 at $900 is the surprise of the year.
Somehow, in a world of AI devices and smart glasses and XR headsets, the smartphone is still OP. Like, this is still the center of our personal computing lives.
Thanks very much for watching the best smartphone roundup. Please find links for full videos down below and come back for more re-reviews where we watch all the reviews so you don't have to.